Felipe Lopez leads it off and scorches the first pitch into center field. That's a leadoff hit.
Didn't waste any time. I guess that slight delay didn't bother Lopez at all. He's coming off a good homestand where he went 10 for 26.
So Lopez, who has 4 of the Diamondbacks' 26 stolen bases this year, is aboard. And Gerardo Parra, the second-ranked prospect in the Arizona Diamondback organization, bats against the Braves for the first time. Parra bats left, throws left, signed out of Venezuela in 2004. He won the Midwest League batting title by hitting .320 back in 2007 with South Bend. And he pushes a bunt down the third base line. Foul. You saw briefly that stat. 1 hit, 1 homer, 1 RBI. He and Jordan Schaefer have something about which to compare notes this year.
Yep, he homered in his first at bat after he was called up, so a good start to his career too. And maybe a reflection of what we'll see from this A.J. Hinch managed ball club, playing for a run here in the first inning.
They've got Doug Davis working tonight, and Davis has historically been tough on the Braves. As Parra rifles one into the right field corner. That ball was hung and it was hit hard. Lopez on his way to third as the ball sticks in the corner. They don't wave him around. And Francoeur's throw to Infante not nearly in time to prevent a triple by Parra, and the Diamondbacks have scored first.
Just a bad pitch, Chip. You called it a hanging breaking ball, and you can see it just almost like you're putting it out there on a string, hanging it out there for Parra to turn on it. And then when the ball hit the fence, it just died there. So Francoeur had a long way to go.
And an inauspicious start to the homestand in the series. Arizona strikes first. And Justin Upton, who's having a resurgent month of May, bats with another man in scoring position with nobody out. And that'll get a run home as Escobar will take care of Upton. Diamondbacks have gotten him on, gotten him over, and got 2 in. 1 away.
Yeah, on 4 pitches. He's 19 RBIs. He's hitting 19 of his last 20.
So here's Mark Reynolds, the Arizona third baseman, hitting .250 with 8 homers, 15 runs batted in. And partner, I guess it's safe to say he is Exhibit A when it comes to that strikeout stat for this Diamondbacks club.
First inning, not exactly a big inning for the Diamondbacks this year. They've only scored 9 runs in the first inning total before tonight. And with the way they're jumping on Javi early in the count, makes you wonder if that slight delay, that 10-minute delay, caused him any kind of timing issue after he had warmed up early, came back to the dugout.
Well, if it did, you hope the same applies to Doug Davis, for he's had to wait a little longer than normal. And Reynolds with 42 strikeouts so far in the young season in 120 at bats, facing a 2-ball 1-strike count.
That's only 2 fewer than Jordan Schaefer in the strikeout column, and last year he led the major leagues in strikeouts at 204. He also led the majors with 35 errors at third base. That's way too many for a guy that has his kind of talent.
That pitch had some life to it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A single, a triple, and a ground out have plated 2 first-inning runs. And an off-speed pitch just missed to fill up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Vasquez has good numbers against the Diamondbacks, but it's been a while. 5-3 in his career, but his last win came 5 years ago when he was with the Montreal Expos.
And for you young fans who didn't know that they used to have a team in Montreal, they did for a long time, and they were a very successful club. But Major League Baseball took over that franchise and then moved them to Washington. So the Nationals used to be the Expos. There's another strikeout. Second out of the inning. Reynolds down swinging. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, Javi's fourth in the major leagues in strikeouts per 9 innings, averaging 11.07. Which, if you're looking at it from an innings pitch standpoint, this was just a good fastball. Came back to the outside corner. That's 58 strikeouts for him in 47 innings.
Yeah, you average more than a strikeout per inning as a starting pitcher. You are bringing it. And he jumps ahead of Stephen Drew, the Arizona shortstop. He's been hobbled by a hamstring problem, but back in there tonight, sporting a .208 season batting average.
Braves won the season series last year against the D-backs, winning 5 out of 8. 2-2 here. Stephen Drew played well against the Braves last year, at .289 against him, couple of homers. He's got deceiving power, quick bat, ball really jumps off his bat.
Sounds familiar.
Yes.
When you're talking about the Drew family.
Tim especially.
Yes. 0-2. And 0-3. Vasquez, after a single, a triple, and a ground out, strikes out Reynolds and Drew. Surrenders a pair in the first. Top of the order for the Braves against Doug Davis of the Diamondbacks.
Fonte will lead it off. Then Escobar and Chipper Jones, Garrett Anderson and Brian McCann, Jeff Francoeur, and Casey Kochman over his last 7 games has driven in 11 runs. Stay hot. Jordan Schaefer bats 8, and then Javi Vasquez, and they'll go against the guy Doug Davis, 33 years old, 6'4", 215, who is a soft tosser. He'll throw a little cutter in on your hands if you're a right-handed batter once in a while, but everything else is very slow and deliberate, including his windup. He's coming off a very good start against Washington. He got beat 2-1, gave up only 1 run in 6 innings. And against the Braves, you're right, Chip, he has pitched great games against him, and he's pitched awful games against him last year. Indicative of that, he beat the Braves 11-1 here in this ballpark, and then lost 11-6 in Arizona.
And as he looks up at that scoreboard, seeing 2 runs in his favor, that's a familiar refrain. 2 runs or fewer in support for Davis in 6 of his 7 starts this year. That's why he's 2-5, but with a very good earned run average. And Davis, besides the fact that he's an accomplished major league pitcher, a truly inspirational story about which We'll speak in a moment. Infante jumps on the first ball and slices that out of play. Last year, Davis, thyroid cancer, you might recall. And while undergoing those treatments, made his first start back from that cancer diagnosis and treatment against Atlanta in this ballpark.
And pitched to Jim. Got a lot of run support, but pitched a great game.
Gave up 5 hits in 7 innings. And a liner off the glove of Weitzel at first. Davis not to the bag, and there's a break. Josh Weitzel is an offensive first baseman.
Well, I think Doug Davis just figured it was a base hit to right field, so he didn't even bother moving off the mound. You could see in that picture he hadn't even broken to the bag until the ball hit the ground. Base hit for Infante, and that's a sign of what this team's been doing, Chip. Fall behind a couple runs, nobody seems to panic anymore, and it happened in New York as recently as Wednesday after they fell behind 6-4 on the grand slam by Tatis.
Yudel Escobar's had a sizzling month of May, and he looks at a quick strike from Davis. Escobar hitting .353 this month.
6 for 12 in that New York series. I was talking to Terry Pendleton before the game about how many really good at-bats took place in that New York series, especially against Johan Santana. Everybody had an idea what they wanted to do. They stuck to that plan. It was very successful. And Terry was very proud of the guys for that. And he said they're going to have to apply that same principle tonight against a guy who can be very frustrating. Jamie Moyer type frustrating. Don't be too anxious.
And as you see, he has a very deceptive pickoff move as well. So if you think about stealing against him, that's a real risky proposition.
You have to guess right. He's got 3 pickoffs already this year. That leads the National League, and 39 in his career.
1 ball, 1 strike. And a little chopper off the plate. Davis will go to second. And not in time at first. Infante forced at second, 1 out. And here's Chipper Jones.
The rest of the defense behind Davis tonight. Their outfield has Parra in left, Young in center, Upton in right. And around the diamond, third to first, Reynolds, Drew, Lopez, and Weitzel. And Chris Snyder is the catcher. I thought Chipper hit 3 balls Wednesday as hard as he's hit 3 balls all year long, Chip. Long drives to right center, batting right-handed. At any other ballpark were probably home runs.
Yeah, at Shea, they're bouncing off the apple. At City, they're bouncing off the warning tracker in the glove of Beltran.
Exactly.
Boy, come on, Chip.
In fact, Chipper told me the same thing. He said, I flushed 3 balls. I hit him right on the button. But he too swung the bat well on the road trip. He had 8 hits on that 3-city journey. Remember, he did not play against Santana and the Mets, so that work came in 7 games.
That's the cutter. He will run in on the right-handers to keep him honest. And as you said, very difficult to steal on, not only because he's got a good move, but because he just kind of steps, almost like he's throwing batting practice, just steps to home plate.
Back!
You won't need a microphone to hear Bobby Cox tonight with that move of Davis.
No.
And from his perch, he has an excellent look as to what that front leg of the Diamondback pitcher's doing. Did you like facing guys like Davis in your day?
No, because it's almost like a knuckleballer. They could put you in a slump for a week.
Chopped off the plate. Charging at third. Reynolds the throw across in time to retire Chipper. And Escobar to second with 2 outs, and Garrett Anderson's coming up. A hard hit ball by Infante. 2 choppers follow that. Now Garrett Anderson with a 3-game hit streak stands in. You mentioned in the open how great it was to welcome Anderson and McCann back in this lineup. Well, the numbers certainly show that. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. Doesn't bother Anderson. He's been around a long time.
Garrett.
Let's put a little modest hitting streak together. Here are the numbers against lefties. He's hitting 3 straight and 4 for his last 9.
Wind blowing toward the left field corner as Davis turns it loose. And he evens the count at a ball and a strike.
He has seen Davis more than anybody in the lineup. 22 at bats. Part of that, obviously, from interleague play and some other at bats from some time spent in the American League. Davis originally drafted by Texas, played in the big leagues for them, and briefly for Toronto.
Big, slow curveball.
Big guy.
A lot of off-speed stuff. Like a changeup coming when he's gripping it.
And he got it to the outside corner, and he strikes out Garrett Anderson. Leadoff hit is left stranded for Atlanta, and the Diamondbacks maintain an early lead.
Solid, bank solid. And today's subject, best numbers of strikeouts per 9 innings. Mentioned that Vasquez was 11.07. That's 3rd best in the National League. Tim Lincecum, Johan Santana just ahead of him. Harden and Peavy not too far behind. But he trails 2-0, and he's got to have a better inning in the second.
And 2 is about the average for the Diamondbacks this year on the road. And they will start with Chris Young, their center fielder. A couple of years ago, Young was the B.J. Upton of the National League. Remember the torrid work that Upton did last year for the Tampa Bay Rays? Well, it was Young that was the pace setter for the National League in postseason play 2 years ago. Boy, is he struggling so far in 2009. 33 strikeouts, hitting .158 this month. And there's been some talk maybe he needs to go back to AAA.
Wow. Well, he also was the leadoff guy, and his numbers got so bad they had to move him down in the order. Take a look at this number on the road between he and Eric Burns and Chad Tracy. They are combined 4 for 78 on the road this year. Ow.
So how have they won 4 games?
And the Diamondbacks have not scored in consecutive innings on the road yet.
towering pop-up. The wind might play some tricks with this one. Chipper Jones at third has no trouble, and Vasquez is set down 4 in a row now. And here's Josh Weitzel, who last year had 26 home runs and hit .328 at Tucson. That's the Arizona club's AAA affiliate. That was their affiliate last year in Tucson. Now they're in Reno. Thank you, Joe. As Weitzel looks at a strike.
Minor league player of the year for him, and a guy they got off waivers after he had started his career in the Montreal system. That was a while back.
6th round pick in 2003 out of Loyola Marymount. And he fists that one into center field. Schaefer, come on, and he makes an knee-high catch.
Jordan Schaefer had a rough road trip offensively, only going 4 for 28. But I tell you what, he played some great defense. And shows off the glove work again right here, picking one off the top of the ground. Shoestring action. Good play.
Here's Chris Snyder, the Arizona catcher.
After struggling with the first 2 batters and then giving up the ground ball that scored the second run in the first inning, he then settled in, and Vasquez got 2 strikeouts. And he's retired the first 2 this inning. Makes you wonder if maybe that little 10-minute weather-related delay caused him a little bit of uneasiness when he went out there to warm up.
Starters will tell you they're creatures of habit. They like to start their warm-ups and finish them around the same time. For everyday players like you, that just means they're very strange.
Well, it does. Yes. Just can't figure that kind of thing out. But get a little adrenaline rush maybe, and you think that game's about to start, and it doesn't.
He's fallen behind 3 balls and a strike with the pitcher next. You know, Javi would love to get Snyder here and start the third with Doug Davis at the plate. But that won't happen. His first walk of the game. And Davis indeed will get to bat here in the second inning.
And as he trots to first, fans, it's time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. And if you have a question for us this evening, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtreetv.com. Please tell us your name and where you're from, and don't forget, more saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
Doug Davis hitting a .167, hitting better than that now. A first pitch rope into left field.
A lot of first pitch swings so far tonight.
And Bobby Cox, like the rest of the National League, looking through the Arizona media guide and asking, who are some of these guys?
I know I was.
Yeah, gone are the days of Luis Gonzalez and Jay Bell and Matt Williams. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, on and on you go. Here's Lopez. Know about him. He's a good hitter. 1 ball, no strikes.
Felipe needed a new start. Got that by leaving Washington and coming to Arizona. Always a good offensive player. And improving that to the Diamondbacks here in the first 6 weeks. John Smoltz, 3,000th strikeout, by the way. Stopped by Bryan. That's a pitch that's been giving McCann a little bit of trouble to his backhand side, but he made a nice play there.
Vasquez not as sharp tonight as he was in his last start against the Philadelphia Phillies. Trails by a couple of runs, has 2 on with 2 out, and Lopez in command of a 2-1 count. That's hit high in the air to left center field, but Schaefer's got it tracked, and Jordan makes the catch. A hit and a walk with 2 outs, nothing else across for the D-backs, who have yet to score in consecutive innings on the road still in 2009.
As the Braves have returned home. And now it's time to take a look at the Piedmont Hospital injury report. And really all signs are good. Tom Glavine pointing toward perhaps a late May return to pitching to active duty. Tim Hudson stretching it out, throwing over 120 feet now as he recovers from his elbow surgery, and Jorge Campillo's shoulder feeling much better, he told me when we were in New York. So he's close to maybe doing a rehab stint and coming back. Get the perfect balance of health and care at Piedmont Hospital, the preferred health care provider of the Atlanta Braves. Visit PiedmontHospital.org.
And Brian McCann will lead off the Atlanta second, down 2-0 to Doug Davis. And a ball low to the Atlanta catcher. Those of you who didn't catch the Braves on their last road trip and have been paying close attention tonight, Brian's wearing the prescription eyeglasses while at the plate, but not behind it. Feels like it's much more comfortable that way, and with the perspiration and the heavy workload behind the plate, the glasses fog up sometimes, which is a problem when somebody's throwing a baseball 95 miles an hour at you.
That's an issue.
Yes.
And you're trying to look through that screen, the wire cage of your mask. One of the things that makes Davis difficult, and that's his best fastball right there at 86, is that very slow, almost like he hit the pause button and then throws. So everything's so slow, and when the ball comes out of his hand, all of a sudden it looks harder than it really is and throws off your timing.
Well, if hitting is timing, then Davis certainly personifies the adage that is pitching, that is destroying timing, for the point you just made.
He's pitched well. I mean, he's 2-5 with a 3.25 ERA. He's lost twice by a score of 2-1.
There's a bullet, and Weitzel spun his wheels at first base. He's checking his cleats. He could hardly move at all at first base.
Looks like somebody had a hold of his foot, wouldn't let him fall over to try to make the play. Maybe he didn't want to. Ball was hit hard and hooking back to him. He's looking back like the little man in the dirt had him. Oh, it did slip a little. That's what happened. Way to go, Ed Langley.
So he's aboard in front of Jeff Francoeur, whose best work has come against left-handed pitchers. And he hacks the first pitch straight back, strike one.
Jeff Francoeur, beginning in Philadelphia and extending into New York, Chip, fell back into some old ways. Not being quite as patient, opening up too fast, not thinking about right center like he should have or had been doing, and he hit 182 on the trip.
Come on, kid. Come on.
He's got to get back to that approach that he has had all season long.
And if you're a disciplined hitter, I would assume that a guy like Davis will really help you do that if you think about right and right center, correct?
No question. The only pitch that will give you trouble is the cutter in on your hands. And when you're ahead in the count, you don't have to worry about that anyway.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Great numbers against lefties.
And he squirts that ball through the whole right side. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Falling down is Upton in right, but no advance by McCann. Upton throws very, very well. So 2 straight hits. And Jeff was able to protect the plate behind in the count and move McCann up.
That's the approach. That's it. Behind a ball and 2 strikes, kept his hands inside the baseball and pitch up. Just hit it to that spot in right field. So a good start to the inning. Brian had his back to Upton, so he did not see him bobble it. Thought about going, but wisely stayed.
For Casey, Kochman is up, and Kochman had a very good road trip. He's up to 15 RBIs this year. He another left-hand hitter partner for the Braves that hits left-handers very, very well.
Casey had arguably the best road trip of anybody with the production that he fired at everybody.
Little chopper over the mound. Nobody covers third. Bad throw. It's into the corner. 1 run scores. Francoeur to third. He'll stop. Reynolds came charging in on the chopper. Davis looked there, then fired wild at first, and the Braves get a gift and have cut this lead in half.
He thought his only play was going to be to third base. But Reynolds came in because he wasn't sure that the ball was going to be caught. And then a pitcher who makes his living throwing the ball 60 feet 6 inches has to throw it a little bit farther than that and can't even come close to first base. Isn't it amazing when you take the pitchers out of their comfort zone and have to hurry something like that, how many times you see them throw the ball away?
Fielder's choice, E1, no RBI. Runners at the corners now with nobody out. And Jordan Schaefer is up. And Davis may be rattled just a bit. He falls behind. 1 ball, no strikes.
This is when he has been at his best all year. He'll give up a lot of base hits with the sacks empty, but when people are on base, that's when Davis has been at his best. 333 average against him with the bases empty. A 113 mark with base runners on base, and less than 100 in runners in scoring position.
You heard the great work of our audio man Jim Budko a moment ago. Bobby Cox saying, "Put it in play, Jordan." A ground ball to the right side ties this game, you'd think. And Jordan has had trouble, Joe, in a big way, driving in men in scoring position this year.
He's had 41 base runners in scoring position. He has yet to drive one of them in, and he's 0 for 6 at getting that in from third base with less than 2 outs.
Well, let's see if he can break out of it here.
Just a ground ball.
Yeah. He's ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike.
If you're wondering why Casey Kochman didn't wind up on second base after the ball was thrown away, he missed first. He had to kind of jump over Whitesell, so he had to come back to the bag at first, and when that happened, there's no way he could advance. Right here.
Good patience shown by Schaefer. 3 balls and a strike.
He can be greedy here, but he can be also very particular about looking for the ball in one spot. He wants something he can drive out of the infield to get that runner in from third, deep fly ball or otherwise. That was up and in and tied him up, let her high. Might have been ball 4.
With nobody out, the pitcher next, Schaefer might be the key man in this inning for the Braves. Full count. Kochman at first. Draws another throw.
Well, Casey's smart. He's not going to be stealing. He's got a very short lead. He's doing a good thing just by having Whitesell hold him on and make a hole over there on the right side. So don't get carried away with your lead and get picked off. Wouldn't be a bad idea to just be leaning on that left foot just a little bit, you know. If he goes to the plate, then you can kind of take another step up if you need to.
Well, I don't think he's not worried about Kochman, but I guarantee he's trying to ice Schaefer here. Full count. Ground ball. That'll get the job done. One there. No chance to get Schaefer. And for the first time this year, Jordan Schaefer gets a man in from third. And he ties the game at 2.
That's all Bobby Cox was looking for. Just put it in play. Even a double play scores the run. But Jordan, with his speed, tough to double up. And he gets an RBI and gets the game tied up just by putting it in play.
So now he'll get a look at one of the best pickoff moves in the game from Davis as he measures off the lead for Javi Vasquez, who shows bunts and takes a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes.
First RBI for Schaefer, I believe, since game 3. That was it. His home run. His second homer of that series.
And that was a biggie. Ties our game.
And like you said, maybe this is the start of it tonight. Snap out of it.
Vasquez the bunt, and it's a beauty. Davis one play, and this time makes a good throw.
Come on, out.
Good sacrifice. 4th of the year for Vasquez. And now with 2 out, Omar Infante can chase home Schaefer perhaps, and this has been where the Braves have been so good all year, and that is 2 out offensive production.
Infante with some pretty good numbers at 294 average. In fact, that's very good. Runners in scoring position. It only pales by comparison to some of his teammates.
Get him out.
Like Escobar at 432. Just looking at some of the numbers, trying to figure out if the home and road splits might answer the question why the Braves are 5 and 9 at home, Chip. But there's really only a 5-point difference in their batting average as a team. And Infante, as an example, 371 at home, 310 on the road.
Ground ball up the middle. Drew to his left. Makes a good pickup. And then takes care of Omar Infante. The Braves tie it up with a couple of hits and a big throwing error from Diamondback starter Doug Davis.
Peachtree TV in HD can be found on Comcast Channel 802, Charter Channel 707, and DirecTV Channel 17. Check your local listings for other cable systems. The Braves play here on Peachtree TV in HD.
Oh, baby, we got a ball game again. 2-2 your score after 2. And Gerardo Parra starts things off. He has 2 hits in his big league career, and they're both for extra bases. Our pitch speed this inning brought to you by Bear Advanced. Better science, better results. I want to compliment your partner so far tonight.
How's that?
You've not called him Garcia Parra yet.
No, but I've tried real hard not to. In my scorebook, I write down their initial first name and then their last name, and I got G. Parra there.
Oh, man.
And that is fraught with danger.
Well, if this guy hits as well as Nomar Garcia Parra, Gerardo Parra is going to have a very good major league career. Played at the WBC with his native Venezuela.
I was just looking at his minor league numbers. He's a .319 career hitter in the minor leagues, and the first year playing at Boca Chica, he hit .384, then .328, then .320. That batting title you were talking about. So good numbers up and down.
And Vasquez walks him on 5 pitches, and we'll see what kind of speed Parra has. And let's check out that last pitch. Was it close?
It didn't hit the target, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. Can set up outside. Wow. Alfonso Marquez was right over that inside shoulder of Brian McCann's too. He should have had a real good look at it. Looked like a good pitch.
Maybe the movement of McCann's glove led him astray as Upton bats with a man aboard. Upton drove home a run with a ground ball to short. You mentioned Justin has hit 19 of his last 20 games. Well, he had an 18-game hit streak in that stretch, and that's why his average is above 300. But that's not the longest hit streak in the National League this year. Ryan Zimmerman's string of 30 in a row came to an end out in San Francisco.
Yeah, I hated to see that. I was hoping he'd keep it going. It's quite a feat, though, getting to 30.
That's a hit, folks, every day for a month in the major leagues. You want to put it in perspective? His work and Chiron Martis's 5-0 start are arguably the 2 big highlights for the Nationals, who have started 11-21 this year. One ball, 1 strike here to Upton.
Curveball hasn't been sharp tonight. Remember, it was a hanging curve that he threw to Parra in the first inning that got raked into the right field corner for a triple. Speaking of streaks, Chip, Joe DiMaggio's streak back in 1941 started today on this date.
Is that a record that'll never be broken? 56 in a row?
No, I think it will be.
Do you?
I really do. Somebody will put a run together.
I can't remember as Upton's down on strikes when DiMaggio's streak ended. I think it was Cleveland that snapped it after the streak was broken, and Hal can look the exact number up. I think he went on to hit in 16, 17, 18 more games after that.
It was a good number. It was a streak anybody else would have been proud of after the 56 gamer, and he got robbed that day. I think it was against Cleveland. The third baseman made a couple of great plays on him, diving stops to hand him the offer.
Was that Ken Keltner?
Might have been.
Here's Reynolds. He struck out. No surprise there. His first time up, and he's behind here in the third. What was DiMaggio's season high in strikeouts, Hal? 39. Reynolds has already passed that, and it's May 15th. It is a different game, isn't it?
Yep. Oh! 92 on the outside corner. That'll get a lot of outs out there.
He pitched Upton, and now Reynolds with a little bit angry, hadn't he?
Yeah, his fastball's a little better tonight than it's been. He's usually 90, 91. Tonight, a couple of 92s. Hal just handed me a card. DiMaggio had 361 career homers, 369 strikeouts.
Just not acceptable. You're always supposed to have more home runs and strikeouts, right?
Uh-huh. There's Pete Rose's streak ended right across the street at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Larry McWilliams and Gene Garber had the work that night. We saw Gene Garber on the road trip. He was in the locker room up in Philadelphia. Looks great. Said we might need you every now and then for the ninth inning. He'd probably love a crack at it.
You know he would. See what they do here to try to put Reynolds away. See if he expands his strike zone. Maybe going up the ladder out of the zone.
Runner goes. Breaking ball, hammered foul.
The slow curve is what I was referring to earlier about how he was having a little trouble with it. And now this is the harder breaking ball. But again, right out over the plate. Brian was set up hoping he could drop that outside a little off the plate. But he's going to have to get on top of that pitch a little better.
Strike three, outside corner.
Well, that's the pitch I said a minute ago will get you a lot of outs. This time it's a strikeout. 92 on the corner. Came back a little bit. Reynolds couldn't believe it, but right at the target. Fourth strikeout for Javi.
Yeah, you hit the glove in this league consistently, you're going to get the calls.
Well, as you pointed out, he didn't on that ball four pitch to Parra, and that may have been what cost him.
So Drew, the batter, with 2 outs and a man aboard. And again, that breaking ball, not real sharp, at least not yet. 1 ball, no strikes.
State baseball playoffs have begun. I think they're in their second week here in the state of Georgia. And I always think about Stephen Drew down at Lowndes County and the damage he did before he went to Florida State, leading his team to, I believe, is a state championship, if not a state runner-up title.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner again goes. The breaking ball low. The throw is on target and in time. Parra gunned down. Brian McCann has nabbed his 3rd would-be base stealer in 10 attempts against him this year. He's much improved in that category, and that helps Vasquez and the Braves keep this game tied in the middle of the 3rd inning. make this 2-2 tie. And it's the AirTran Airways home run inning where one lucky fan will have a chance to win free airfare for two if the Braves hit one out in this inning. Visit PeachtreeTV.com/Braves for official rules and enter for your chance to win. AirTran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you. And the right folks are up. Escobar, Chipper Jones, and Garrett Anderson here in the Braves half of the third.
What do you win?
Airfare for two.
Cool. I'm in.
Where would you like to go?
Next road trip, I guess San Francisco.
2 balls, no strikes. It's not a bad way to start. And Davis, no stranger to the long ball. But again, the Diamondbacks play in one of the hitter-friendly parks in baseball. The bulk of their schedule played to this point of the season has been at home, where they haven't really taken advantage of the home cooking.
No, and it's just too many factors so far for their ball club that led to the firing of their manager. Just poor play in virtually all facets.
Ground ball thumb toward Lopez, second, one out.
Chip, I want to show you something on that last throw by Brian McCann. I wonder if a little David Ross is rubbed off on him. Watch his right foot. It never moved. Many times Brian McCann will do a quick foot shift to get in position to throw and take a little extra time. Not on this occasion. Watch the right foot. It never left its position, and a quicker release. Good throw. Got him. And David Ross throws the same way. When David gets rid of it so quickly, there's no wasted motion.
And the fact that that ball was in the dirt, McCann had to backhand it and come up and throw in one motion with a left-hand hitter up there made that play very impressive.
He's really playing great. It's wonderful to see him back on the field. He's got a genuine passion for playing, and he, more than anything else, loves to win. He'll take an 0 for 4 if the team wins. That's all just fine by him. But the 0 for 4s are rare.
I think we need to get him a ShamWow endorsement, though, don't you think, from that shot?
Yes.
I mean, he's got that tiny little chamois that he's cleaning the glasses off. I mean,
well, you know, there's a deal out there now where you can get 3 for the price of 1.
See, always thinking, buddy.
And probably a shoe shine kit.
Whatever. In. We'll take the cast offs, right? 3 balls and a strike. Hi, I'm Brian McCann for ShamWow. You see?
Yeah. But if you act now.
Swing and a drive. Belted left center field. Break out the tape measure. The Braves lead. If not ShamWow, how about SlamWow? 3-2 Atlanta on Chipper's 4th homer.
Another solo shot given up by Mr. Davis. First home run since he hit one here off J.J. Putz on May 4th. Kind of a slider, and look, Davis knew it. That ties Chipper with Eddie Matthews in career RBIs in the franchise. Good company.
So the Braves have come back from a 2-run deficit, now lead 3-2 with 2 outs. And Brian McCann will bat with the bases empty.
Hammer and Hank 22:02. And Eddie and Chipper at 1388. 2000. 202. That's a lot of RBIs.
It's about 800 and something more than Chipper Jones has and Eddie Matthews has. So Brian McCann is the hitter. We've got a winner in our AirTran Airways contest. Right. I'm not sure who or where they're going to go. as Davis misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Take a look at Davis here on this home run pitch. Just watch Davis, the pitcher. You know, before he even looked up, he was already shaking his head. I know where that's going.
That wasn't as demonstrative as one of the great reactions in playoff history a couple of years ago. Remember when Ted Lilly gave up a home run in Arizona, and he just like Davis did, turned around and spiked the glove.
Fired his glove.
Yeah. Like it's the glove's fault, you know. Ground ball hit toward first. Whitesell makes the play, and the side is retired. This has been the Air Trade Airways home run inning of the game. Hunter from Chattanooga, Tennessee, is selected as our home run inning sweepstakes winner. Congratulations, Hunter. Air Trade Airways with inning.
What's the major league record for lowest batting average on the road for a single season? I'm assuming that's a non-pitcher. Oh, it's a team batting average. Team batting average. Okay. Lowest team batting average. It does say that. I just didn't read it that way. Okay. Hal Yeldon.
He's very grumpy on Fridays.
Okay.
Should know that by now. Here's Drew. He was the man of the box when Parra was thrown out trying to steal.
I'll give you a hint. That team batting average was 182. That's not very good.
That's not good. Now, if you have a team full of pitchers and all 9 pitchers bat, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, you'd figure it'd be a National League team.
Yeah.
Well, Javi's teammates have covered up that 2-run first. And time for him to get on a good roll here against a team that's not averaging much on the road.
Diamondbacks hitting .232 as a club. That's dead last in the league. Dead last in runs scored in the league. 2 from the bottom in defense. And it was a Davis throwing error that led to the first Braves offense of the night. Chipper Jones homered a moment ago to put Atlanta in front 3-2.
105 strikeouts in 11 games.
Well, they struck out almost 1,300 times last year as a team. I mentioned Reynolds led everybody, and there's another one. That's 5. In fact, the 3, 4, 5 hitters in this game tonight are 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts.
Well, he's painting the outside corner to lefties and righties with the fastball. That was another one at 92. And a beauty. Rick Shue lost his job when the manager got fired on the 9th of May. Rick Shue, the hitting coach, also was fired.
So they're on their third hitting coach and second manager in the last 3 years.
Jack Howell has taken over as the hitting coach.
No balls and a strike to Young. Chopped towards short. Young has very good speed. Not fast enough to outrun that arm. 2 outs.
There's Jack Howell next to the youthful manager. You know, one of the things that's been irritating me, I guess is the right word. It may be a little too gruff, but they keep referring to A.J. Hinch as, well, he's a smart guy. He went to Stanford. Well, yeah, that doesn't make him a bright baseball man. You know, okay, I'll give him that. He had to have been bright to go to the Oklahoma of the West. But
sorry.
What?
My microphone was. What was that?
Oh, but that doesn't translate to baseball necessarily.
Well, you made the point earlier that this is an unconventional move.
Mm-hmm. It is. No managerial experience in the minor leagues. His first managerial job, and on top of that, they gave him a 5-year deal.
Plays through 2012. Whew. Now, this move was not very popularly received in Arizona. The media was very skeptical. Ken Kendrick, the managing partner of the Diamondbacks, made a good point, though. Just because something's unconventional doesn't mean it's going to be unsuccessful.
He's right. Some habits are hard to break in baseball, but it's like naming somebody the CEO of a company when they've been in the mailroom. You know, can you manage people?
Well, you made the point. As a veteran player, there's going to be a lot of show me, I'm sure, as that bat shatters and Weitzel has his first hit of the game. You know, this game is going to move a whole lot faster for A.J. Hinch than Bobby Cox, at least until Hinch has been in that hot seat for a couple of weeks, you would think.
Well, he's going to need to rely on his coaches. He's going to have to take some suggestive criticism, some ideas, and not feel like he's got all the answers.
And maybe the biggest bit of skepticism that again was mentioned in the press was Hinch was very close to the Arizona general manager, and fairly or unfairly there was some perception that because Bob Melvin wasn't necessarily the general manager's guy, that A.J. Hinch now has the job and the ear of Josh Burns, and as a result the general manager is managing the team as well as A.J. Hinch.
Well, that'd be scary if that were the case, and that's with no disrespect to Josh Tower. It's just that the manager has to have his hand on the pulse of the team, and be able to make out the lineup as he sees fit, with who's going good, who's not, who's feeling bad, who's not.
2 balls, no strikes to Snyder. And Vasquez still having trouble getting that breaking ball over, and he's 3-0 with the pitcher on deck again, leading by a run.
He played in the big leagues for quite a bit, had several stints with the Royals, Tigers, the Phillies, the A's. That was the team he originally signed with. 350 big league games.
But if anything, I think we would agree that if their decision was to go in-house in Arizona, no one's going to know these players better than that man because of his familiarity with all of these young players in their minor league system.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Really?
No. He might know their minor league system better than some of the major league coaches, but I can't imagine that he knows this major league club better than Kirk Gibson or Chip Hale. Chip Hale was one of the finalists for the Seattle managerial job last year that went to Don Wakamatsu. I'm not trying to be critical
That's trouble. Fly ball left center field off the bat of Snyder, but Schaefer tracks it down.
I'm just surprised, and I hope it works out for the Diamondbacks. I hope they lose 3 in a row here, and A.J. Hinch goes on to begin a very successful major league career.
Sox.
That's what I always say.
Jimmy Bootkus from Chicago. Jimmy, what's the right way to say it? He says shy.
Okay, that's what I've always said, so we'll go with that.
Which is ironic because none of their fans are really that shy.
Well, the Diamondbacks are well on their way to establishing a record.
I mean, it's hard to hit under 200 as a team.
Yeah.
Just like it's hard to hit 300 the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, swing and miss a lot.
Jeff Francoeur, good approach last time up. Remember, he was quickly down 2 strikes in his first at bat against Davis and just fought off a ball and hit it into the gap between first and second.
Oi.
Well, one of the things about his cutter is he's not going to throw it too many times in consecutive pitches. If he keeps you honest with it once, you're probably going to get something thrown away from you the next pitch.
So as a hitter, do you go up there and try to eliminate one of Davis's 3 pitches and say, no matter what, if he throws it, I'm not swinging at it? Is that
at least until you get 2 strikes? Yes.
And now he's got 3 strikes. A big breaking ball takes care of Jeff, and that's the second strikeout in tonight's game.
And I think more often than not, the pitch you want to eliminate is the one that gives you the most trouble. If it's the curveball, don't swing at it. If it's the cutter, don't swing at it until you're forced to guard the plate.
Here's Kutchman. And he takes a letter high fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Both the Braves and Diamondbacks had an off day yesterday. The Braves able to get home, unpack, reacquaint themselves with the family after a long 3-city road trip. Maybe for Arizona, the best thing that could have happened for them is to get out of the desert and get away from the cloud of negativity that's surrounding the ball club because of the managerial change, but frankly because they've played so poorly.
I agree. It's probably the best thing that could happen for A.J. Hinch, too.
3 balls and a strike.
The Mets left town after the Braves took 2 out of 3 from them. Should have been a sweep, but took 2 out of 3. And they flew to the West Coast and had to play last night, but still won. They beat the Giants 7-4.
David Wright stole 4 bases in that game. The Mets had 7 as a team. As Kochman hits a fly ball into shallow left. Parra comes on and handles without difficulty his first chance and quickly 2 are out. Mets are worried about Delgado, by the way. It's doubtful he'll play in that series at all with the Giants. He's got the same thing that Utley had, that Mike Lowell had. That's that torn hip labrum.
They kept saying that that was not the case, but they're playing shorthanded. I don't know why they haven't already DL'd him, because they're playing with a 24-man roster right now. It's hard for him even to pinch hit.
High pop fly by Schaefer on the first pitch. Drew calls everybody off, and Davis has an easy time of it in the 4th inning. Good ball game tonight. Braves enjoying an early lead as we approach the 9 o'clock hour in Atlanta. Winning baseball, and the Braves, after a 6-2 road trip, are winning at home again tonight. As always, Friday night, one of the more popular nights for Braves baseball, not because of what happens solely on the field, but what happens at the ballpark after the game. It's Friday night fireworks night. And we invite you to make your plans the rest of the summer here at the ballpark. Not just on Friday night, but any night you can.
Some great ticket packages out there for individual games or multi-games.
As Doug Davis starts things off, and that one bounces up and hits McCann. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves are offering a $5 per game season ticket for the rest of the summer, if you can believe that. So the rest of the year you can sit in the upper deck for $285 and see every home game left on the schedule.
Gotta like that.
That includes a $7.55 club membership, an autographed bat, and a summertime full of memories as the Braves figure to be in the hunt for a playoff spot in the East all summer long. So 404-577-9100 is the number to call, and you can ask for the newly engaged Beth Marshall.
I heard about it. Wow. Congratulations to Beth Marshall.
Our dear friend in the Braves front office engaged last night, and we are thrilled for her. As Davis down on strikes, a slow curveball takes care of him. That's 6 for Javi Vasquez, 1 out.
That was a good spot for that slow curveball, location wise.
And I've already thought of the perfect gift for Beth.
Have you?
And her fiance Corey. What do you think? 4 Braves tickets to a game of her choice?
Yeah, probably. That'd be outstanding.
We know she loves, her favorite game is the Bark in the Park Day. We can get her a upper deck seat.
How about a full parking pass for the rest of the year?
That'd be good. So Beth, congratulations. And we wish you and Corey all the best. Here's Lopez. 1 ball, no strikes. Now it's even at 1-1.
I'm kind of wondering what took Corey so long.
I think Beth was worried he was going to propose on the Jumbotron. Think that would have gone over big? 1-2. Would Kathy have been big on that?
No.
No?
I'd have been missing teeth. In addition to getting a, not no, but
expletive no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pow.
Squibber to short. 2 outs.
Right in the proverbial kisser. How about you?
Oh, no chance.
No.
I had to beg as it is. Here's Parra. He's tripled, scored, and driven home one of Arizona's 2 runs. They scored in the first inning after a 9-minute weather-related delay. There was no rain, at least not at the ballpark. It looked like it was raining right across Hank Aaron Drive. Ed Mangan of the ground crew had the tarp rolled out beyond the second base bag just in case. And so Vasquez might have been messed up by that for a few short minutes, but since then he's been great.
A little out of sorts, perhaps. Start of the game.
Just 2 hits since that first inning for Arizona. One and 2. Up the middle, Infante. Easy play. And it's a very easy 1-2-3. Top half of the 5th. 3-2 Atlanta the lead. Braves are in front by a run. Chipper Jones chopped one out of here to left center. And now Javi Vasquez leads things off for the Braves against Doug Davis, and he takes a quick strike. Braves will continue the series here tomorrow with Kenshin Kawakami facing Max Scherzer. Then Sunday, a real good matchup. John Garland will go for Arizona against Derek Lowe.
Shakeup in the Braves rotation, though, coming Tuesday.
Yeah, the Rockies are in town. And Jojo Reyes, who was pulled from the game very early last time out against the Mets, will try to figure something out in the bullpen, it appears. The Braves will dip down into the minor leagues against Colorado.
Chris Medlin will be called up, and he will make his major league debut Tuesday night. Anxious to see him pitch. He is off to an awesome start at Gwinnett. 5-0 with a 0.96 ERA.
And in to right, Vasquez retired. Davis has sent down 6 consecutive men. And with the promotion of Medlin on Tuesday, the Braves will have to make a corresponding roster move to make room on their 25-man roster for him. And that will be announced on Tuesday.
Well, hopefully whatever work JoJo gets in the bullpen will help him get back on track. I know the Braves still have a lot of confidence in him. They think he's still going to be a fine pitcher, but they can't really afford to let him continue to struggle in the rotation. He's at 19 starts now without a win, and he's 0-9 over that stretch.
And it's funny because Max Scherzer, who's pitching for Arizona tomorrow, same story, winless, 0-9 in his last 9 decisions for the D-backs. And that's popped up behind the plate. Chris Snyder back near the screen, has just enough room, and he makes a fine play for the second out.
You've heard us talk about this cutter that Davis throws, and it acts like a slider, so it bites in on right-handed hitters. And here's one. It starts about the middle of the plate, and it doesn't have a slider spin, but it has a slider movement to it coming in, and you have to try to pull your hands in to try to get the bat through. Ties you up, handcuffs you, and in this case, Infante drops the barrel of the bat and pops it up.
What is so deceptive about that pitch for a hitter?
It looks like a fastball and has a little bit of late movement. It doesn't break a lot, just a few inches.
Is it thrown hard?
Yes, it is thrown hard. And when they say cut fastball, it is. It's not like a cut slider. It's a cut fastball that has a little bit of spin on it to make it bite in this case on a right-handed hitter.
And that's the pitch that the Yankees closer Mariano Rivera will ride to what's almost certain to be a Hall of Fame career.
I agree, it will be. And he throws about 99% cutters.
And as a hitter, it's got to be awfully frustrating. You know what's coming, and still oft times can do nothing with the pitch.
In his case, as a right-handed pitcher, for a lefty, it's a pitch that looks like it's coming down the middle of the plate, and then all of a sudden it's on your thumbs.
1 ball, 1 strike. And in the history of the Arizona Diamondbacks, a couple of left-hand hitters won the final game of the World Series against the Yankees. Mark Grace got a base hit on a cut fastball, and Luis Gonzalez with the infield in just served one into left center field, and the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees for their World Championship. They weren't hit hard, but they were placed perfectly.
No, I mean, I was always happy for Luis Gonzalez. He was a guy who had a tremendous career. Never got a lot of recognition for his good numbers, and nobody will ever forget that little dunker he hit out behind short.
3 balls and a strike. I'm really surprised Gonzalez, who showed last year he can still play, can still run a clubhouse, can still teach young kids about how to be true pros in Major League Baseball. I'm shocked he doesn't have a job somewhere playing in the big leagues.
I'm kind of surprised that Florida didn't bring him back. They could use him right now the way their season is flip-flopped.
Yeah, they started 11-1. They're 6-17 since are the Marlins, with a whole host of pitching problems. They've already lost Sanchez to some shoulder issues. Josh Johnson came out of his last start complaining about a little shoulder fatigue. And tonight, behind Chris Volstad, led 3-0. The Dodgers have tied him up 3-3 down in Miami. They're in the 6th inning. And here's the East up to the moment. Mets play a little later out west.
Good road trip. Got the Braves right back up into second place and knocking on the door.
Mets hitters figure to have fun tonight. They face Tim Lincecum. And that's right there for Doug Davis. He strikes out Escobar and has his second straight 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 8 straight, but is on the short end of a 1-run game.
Brought to you by AirTran Airways. Go. There's nothing stopping you. 2 more with the D-backs. Again on Peachtree TV tomorrow night. Mark Fine and I will have that game for you beginning at 7 o'clock. On Fox Sports South on Sunday, John Shambi and I will be together for that one beginning at 1:30, 1:35 first pitch. Peachtree TV has the first 2 games of that 4-game Rocky series before the last 2 are on Sports South. Hope you'll make your plans to be with us. And following the Rockies, the suddenly hot and off to a great start in 09 Toronto Blue Jays will be in town.
So a good homestand for Atlanta is in the offing. Got to take advantage of these first 2 Western clubs that they're facing, as both the Diamondbacks and Rockies are really struggling at the start of this 2009 season. When Colorado comes in, it'll be great to see Don Baylor, who's on the bench helping Clint Hurdle this year. Don was a hitting coach briefly with the Braves and then went on to manage the Cubs. And Don's such a great gentleman, great ambassador for our game. Chipper Jones once told me that Don Baylor was one of the best hitting coaches he's ever had the pleasure of working with, and with a hitter the quality of Chipper, that's very, very high praise.
It is.
Looking forward to seeing him. As another strikeout from Vasquez, 7 in the game, and here come the Diamondbacks with the whiffs. 1 out.
Little better command of that breaking ball. Struck out the pitcher with it last inning. That might be expected, but a real good spot for that one on the outside corner. Threw it at the middle. Brian had the target outside, caught the corner, and he missed it anyway. Terrific pitch.
He's set down 5 in a row. He's gotten Reynolds twice tonight via the strikeout. And he's ahead of him again, 0-1. The Diamondbacks have dropped 10 of 12 series to start the year. And they were just swept by Dusty Baker's Reds. who outscored them 26-9 in their series they just finished up. And you're playing in the major leagues and having 3 innings or so of no contact, it's real tough to win.
Yes, it is. And that Cincinnati club, you got to keep your eye on them with their good pitching. You got Brandon Phillips going, the Atlanta native, to go with Bruce, who's swinging the bat well, and Joey Votto. But runs per game for the Diamondbacks, a little decline since 2006. 2007 was when they were in the playoffs for the NLCS with Colorado, and averaging less than 4 runs a game right now.
And remember that 07 season, they were outscored.
That's right.
And still got to the NLCS. Maybe they should bring Luis Gonzalez back.
Yeah, I think he lives in the area. Kirk Gibson's coach on their bench.
He'll put it in play.
You know he would go up there hacking.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, it's going to be a task for Hinch. There's Kirk. It'll be a task for A.J. Hinch to get this team going.
Hey, look, I hope I agree with you. I hope he turns it around. I think it'd be a great story. But at the end of the day, Bobby Cox could manage the Arizona Diamondbacks, and if the players don't perform, it's not going to matter who leads them.
He can't reinvent the game to try to make them look better than what they are. And I hope Hinch does well too. I want him to succeed. And with regard to the comment or the quote attributed to the managing general partner of the team, thinking outside the box and giving somebody a chance who's never managed before, maybe that'll open up doors for some other people too in baseball.
And who's to say that fresh ideas or fresh approach won't work? I mean, that's, again, anytime you sign a player, hire a manager, it's a calculated risk. As Reynolds down swinging again, that's 8. And Mark 0 for 3 has whiffed all 3 times he's been up.
And guess what? He just took over the strikeout lead from Jordan Schaefer, if my math is correct. I'll have to look it up.
Well, you went to the Stanford of the Big 12, so yeah. I'm sure you got
it right.
Got it right.
I'll look. That gives him 45 for the year.
And as we mentioned earlier, the 3, 4, 5 guys are air conditioning the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, Schaefer came in with 44. Reynolds now with 45.
Drew golfs one into left center field, and that's the first hit from that trio we just mentioned tonight. 2-out single sets it up for Young.
Chris Young was a nemesis for the Braves when he first broke in. He was a leadoff hitter, and it seemed like every game he hit a leadoff homer against Atlanta. But they figured out something. Last year he just hit 188 against him with a couple of homers. I think he's hit about, I think it's 8 against Atlanta in his career.
Young is a former White Sox farmhand. And one thing that has also frustrated the fan base in Arizona have been some of the decisions of players to trade. It has not worked out well in many respects. Carlos Quentin went to the White Sox for Young. Emilio Bonifacio was traded. He got off to that very hot start for the Marlins. And you're going to have those, certainly.
First baseman for Toronto.
Lyle Overbay.
Yeah.
Was a Diamondback. One ball, no strikes. Be careful with Young. He can hurt you. 1-1 the count.
He actually, in that deal coming from the White Sox, was traded for Javi Vasquez. We went to Chicago.
Crossfire action just missed. 2 balls and a strike.
Traded with El Duque and Luis Vizcaíno for Javi Vasquez and cash considerations. 3 for 1. And his career home run total against the Braves is 6, not 8. But in 2007, just 2 years ago, he hit 32 homers, drove in 68. Last year, 22 homers, drove in 85. While primarily hitting leadoff, it struck out 141 times, and last year 165.
Over the outside corner. Well, that's been the bread and butter pitch for Vasquez tonight.
He's pretty much had that fastball to the corners working all night, and in the last couple of innings the feel for his breaking ball has gotten better and better.
Big crowd wants to see Young retired and send this to the bottom of the 6th inning. This might be one of the better crowds of the year.
Might be the best crowd of the year since opening day.
Weather was a problem in the last couple of homestands, and despite threatening skies tonight, knock on wood, we've had just a perfect night. And the breaking ball popped up right side. Kochman measures it and squeezes it. Young pops out and he flips the bat away in frustration. Javi Vasquez with 8 strikeouts holds a 1-run lead.
Loved it. Very good writing, good idea.
Yeah.
Well cast.
That's one of those movies that you're sitting at home with your wife. Everybody's happy. She gets to look at George Clooney and Brad Pitt. We get to look at Julia Roberts.
Can't lose.
So check that out on Peachtree TV a little bit later on as Chipper Jones goes to work in the 6th inning. His 3rd inning homer, the difference in tonight's game, as the Braves, in a real scheduling oddity, the last team in the National League to face a team from the West. And we'll play the next 7 against Western Division foes on this
homestand. And don't see anybody against the East, a team from the East, until the last day of June.
Boy, stand firm there. Come
A one-out homer in the third inning, and a no doubt well over 400 feet. Solo shot put the Braves on top after they trailed 2-0 in the first.
Yeah, now that he's back in one of these bandbox ballparks instead of New York.
Right. And you know, you're right. That might have been off the wall at Citi Field.
So he's moving on up. Ways to go before he catches Eddie Murray, but Chipper Jones in some real good company on that home run tote board among switch hitters. And Drew handles a convenient hop and throws him out. Davis settling in now in the middle innings. He's retired 9 consecutive Atlanta hitters. And can't stop hitting against Davis. A couple more runs would be nice.
Yep. That's one thing they have been doing better, is adding on runs. That was what was so fun about the 12-inning win the other day against the Mets, was they got some early runs, fell behind, and then just kept pecking away before Prado's homer in the 12th won it. And that ball was sizzled into the seats.
Here's Prado's home run that decided it Wednesday in New York.
I mean, it jumped. There was no doubt about this one either. Sheffield had a look, but you can see 8-9 rows deep.
Garrett Anderson hits it hard, but to Young in right, or up, I beg your pardon, in right. 2 outs, 10 in a row. Set down by Davis. Talking to the Braves about the ballpark in New York. They thought it was very fair in that at night, like Shea Stadium, you really have to crush it and pull it to get it out. In the daytime, the ball much more lively.
Seemed to jump a little better on Wednesday.
Here's B-Mac. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. And a nice play at first by Weitzel, diving to his left. He's had trouble going the other way, but Davis greets him with a glove bump. As 11 up, 11 down in a 1-run game. Nice play by the rookie first baseman. Hello again, everybody. 3-2 your score. Braves in front. As we head now to the 7th inning of play, Josh Weitzel will start it off. He's 1 for 2 and just made a terrific diving play over at first.
Get over breaking ball for strike 1 to start the inning. Very nice.
Weitzel getting a chance to play because Chad Tracy has struggled. Boy, his fastball has been crackling tonight.
Another guy who's struggling, who we don't see tonight, is the always effervescent Eric Burns. He's hitting 200 after 95 at bats.
And he's got a big contract too.
He's one of the guys that doesn't strike out a lot. He just hasn't had any hits.
Neither does Whitesell in this 7th inning. He couldn't check his swing. That's 9 strikeouts for Javier Vasquez. So far, 3 innings among 6 2/3 where they have no contact.
Change up, straight change. Skipped off the plate. Check swing, but he went. Started him with a curveball. Ran up and in with some high cheese, and then the changeup.
That looks to me like it's a veteran pitching move where Vasquez didn't show that early in today's game, and now in the 7th inning, another pitch for the hitters to think about.
That was a beauty, that's for sure. 9 punch outs tonight.
Here's Chris Snyder.
Periodically, we've shown you numbers against some of the best pitchers in the league and against the NL top 10 last year. How about this guy's numbers? Top 10 pitchers in wins, almost a 400 average. Excellent stuff from the Diamondbacks catcher against the league's best.
I really like to see those positive numbers against pitchers with those stats. That's
It's uplifting.
very, very impressive work.
Yeah. That pitch wasn't low. Maybe the way Brian tried to keep it up, kind of chasing it a little bit to his left. Maybe that cost him a strike. I don't know. Good pitch.
Ground ball to third. Chipper stayed down. Catcher running. Remember, Chipper had a sore elbow on the road trip. Really have seen no evidence of that being problematic.
Wait a minute, Chipper. There's only 2. He got caught.
Yeah, in this league, you got to get 3, buddy.
He made that throw, and he was skipping across the diamond, and then went, uh-oh, hold on. Here he goes to the dugout. Oh, okay.
Now, what's the fine for that in Kangaroo Court?
I don't know, but it'll be heavy. Ryan Roberts is going to hit Doug Davis.
Time to break out the Yogi Berra line. Deja vu all over again for Doug Davis. Showed you at the start of the broadcast tonight, 2 runs or less in 6 of his first 7 starts. Make it 7 of 8. Somebody's giving it to him.
Yeah. Martin Prado might be the guy who's probably got more going on in the dugout than anybody. He's pretty much the team choreographer for all the handshakes. Yeah, there you go. And letting Chipper know there were 2 down.
Well, we showed you the shot right before the Braves took the field tonight. Everybody gather around Chipper, and he spoke very clearly about what he was hoping to see from the Braves. Little killer instinct before the start of this very important homestand after a great road trip.
And look at him. He's yelling for everybody to come in. I've never seen that happen on this team. My 18th year, I've never seen that happen in the dugout. I love it.
Well, Chipper said in spring training his goal is to be a little bit more of a vocal and visible leader on this club.
Well, he's got everybody's attention. Makes a difference when you don't have one of these every game. You're a guy who doesn't say a whole lot, but when you do, people listen, and that's the first time I've seen that happen.
And it's his home run that's the decisive blow so far tonight, which certainly validates whatever he said before the game.
Well, it would be easy to come off that road trip and kind of rest on your laurels a little bit and say, well, we got the Diamondbacks in town. We can just throw our gloves out there the way we're playing right now and take care of business. And as they found out in the first inning, that was not the case.
And that's the worst thing a team can do, is to think that they can play up to or down to the level of their perceived level of their competition. Just look at what the Braves did against the Nationals last year.
Exactly.
And how that dearly cost them in their quest for a playoff berth last year. Vasquez with a wicked curveball takes care of Ryan Roberts, and the Arizona Diamondbacks have been struck out 10 times already in the game, and we head to the 7th inning stretch.
The second baseman received 2 assists on a 4-6-3 double play, and the answer, Randy, unfortunately is no. And maybe he should, because an outfielder gets an assist on a relay. If he throws the ball to the shortstop and they throw out a runner at third or home, he gets an assist as an alternate party. So maybe you should. And earlier tonight you said on Chipper's homer,
yeah,
you said break out the tape measure.
See, there you go. How far was it?
I'm 407 feet. According, well, let me measure this way. 415. It's 415. Yep, 415. So I was ready. No? What'd you have it at? I got my Home Depot tape measure here. Official.
That's the official one?
Yeah.
Okay. Francoeur down a strike to John Roush, the big right-hander.
There's the old Home Depot tape measure. And when you put it at the place where the ball landed and then where home plate is.
Boy. My friend.
Yep. 415.
That's 415?
Yep. That's what it says right there. Got it. Okay. Yep.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
On that base, come on.
Oh, it's one of the automatic ones, too.
Oh, yeah.
When you snap a tape measure like that, you know you're a pro. Right?
Yeah, well,
that's a professional.
If you can do it without cutting your finger.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Francoeur. Jeff 1 for 2 tonight. John Roush, another disappointing D-back so far this year. He was a closer in Washington, helped him close some last year. And had a terrible spring, and he's been a mystery.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the closer, and Chad Qualls is the guy now. And maybe it's that Roush is better suited to be the setup guy, which is what he was to Chad Cordero in Washington for most of his career. Giant guy, 6'11", but a 7.07 ERA this year. And only 9 strikeouts in 14 innings. That's a low number for him.
But he's not a guy that throws 97 at 6'10". But too many walks. There's another one. Had a good start for the Braves in the 7th, who looked for some insurance.
That was good at bat. Jeff fell behind, battled him, and got the walk.
So Jeff aboard for the second time in 3 plate appearances in the game. Here's Kochman. Casey's 0-4-2. Jeff runs, ground ball to first. Nice pickup by Weitzel, who wasn't sure he had it. Francoeur to second, but the man in motion keeps the Braves out of a double play.
I like that. Even if it doesn't result in a 1st and 3rd situation, it protects the runner. It works as good as a bunt. And really a nice play by Weitzel on an in-between hop.
Once the infield dried out, he's been a whole lot more effective getting started. Remember, he slipped and fell earlier in the game. And now Jordan Schaefer bats. Broke out of that horrific stretch of not driving in a single man with a runner in scoring position back in the 2nd inning. And he golfs one just foul for a quick strike. $32,593 is the official attendance tonight.
Good to see the old ball yard full.
Yeah. And good to see a good ball game.
Two good swings on a couple of inside pitches to Jordan.
Greg Norton would bat for Vasquez next. And Eric O'Flaherty, we understand, is laboring in the Braves' pen.
Flaherty's done a great job with the addition of JoJo Reyes down there. 3 lefties: Gonzalez, O'Flaherty, and Reyes.
He went fishing and strikes out on a ball down and away. 2 outs.
I don't know what that was, but a bit of an off-speed pitch for Roush and very effective. What this does must have been just a straight changeup that just was kind of sinking down and away from Jordan. And chased it.
So Greg Norton bats, and another terrific outing for Javi Vasquez. 7 innings with 10 strikeouts tonight. 2 walks, 2 runs, 5 hits. And 107 pitches. Boy, you talk about a difference between a team from one year to the next. Look no further, Joe, than the consistency in the starting pitching for the Braves. I mean, every night you can pencil in 6 to 7 out of those starters, night in and night out, something we did not have at all last year.
No, and I think that on the road trip, that was part of what was a key to success, was they finally got a few runs to work with, and they knew they could make a mistake or two and the offense would cover it up. And tonight that's happened again. When he got off to a slow start, the offense has been able to come back. They did that against Davis. A little help from Davis and the bad play he made throwing the ball away, but he's coming out of the game on top.
His 39th career double-digit strikeout game. He did that April 14th against the Marlins. Did Vasquez. And tried to win for the 6th time in his career against Arizona, and for the first time since April 24th, 2003 in Montreal while with the Expos.
I don't remember him being that big a strikeout pitcher when he was with the Expos. You know, last year he's 4th in the American League with the White Sox in that category. But when you talk about Javi Vasquez pitching tonight against the Braves for Montreal Expos, you're not. I don't remember talking about a guy who's near the league lead in strikeouts. He seems to be getting better the older he gets.
241 in '93 was his career high. That's the year he went 13-12 before he went to the Yankees in '04.
That's a lot.
But he struck out 200 or more 1, 2, 3, 4 times. He had 192 once and 196 once. And coming into this season, believe it or not, 2015 Major League strikeouts for Vasquez. You wouldn't think of him as a guy that might have a chance for 3,000.
No.
But he does.
Yeah.
Norton walks, and Mel Stottlemyre Jr. now out to talk to John Roush.
His father, of course, a terrific Major League pitcher and a longtime pitching coach, and a very successful one. You might remember his brother Todd Stottlemyre, who was a very feisty, tough starting pitcher, had a terrific Major League career. Mel Jr. too was a very promising pitcher, but injured his arm and never able to fulfill his promise as a Major League player.
So Roush has walked a couple of Braves in the 7th. Let's see if Infante can cash him in. Omar led off the game with a rocket off Weitzel's glove. He's 0 for 2 since, 1 for 3 in total tonight.
Only the Colorado Rockies have more runs with 2 out than the Braves, and it's just 1 more. Chance for Infante to put the Braves in a tie with the Rockies in that category.
Now it's 0-2.
Omar had a good road trip, playing quite a bit at second base, at .318 on the trip with a homer.
Popped up left side. Drew is under it. And the inning is over. Roush a little shaky in the 7th, but no damage done. He turns it over to his Arizona offense. They have struck out 10 times, but trail it by only 1.
Six Flags, Stone Mountain, the Georgia Aquarium, and World of Coke for only $89 this season with the MVP package. That's an incredible deal on 5 great Atlanta attractions. For tickets, buy online at Braves.com/MVP. $89 for all those.
Yeah, with the summertime coming up, school's about to finish up.
Yeah.
You keep the kids busy every single day if you wanted to.
Well, you buy that, and then you got all summer to go see all those attractions. You just kind of spread it out. You already got your tickets. How about this guy? 196 batting average against him. He hasn't allowed a run in his last 13 appearances. Boy, what an addition he's been.
And when you're healthy, you can perform. O'Flaherty would tell you that some back trouble caused him some issues while with the Seattle Mariners. And he has very ably stepped into the role vacated by Will Oman out of the Braves bullpen. Oman now with the Dodgers.
Braves got him on waivers from Seattle.
And again, scouting is an inexact science. If O'Flaherty had been healthy and pitching like this, there's no way Seattle would have let him walk away.
No. Through April 18th. Essentially the first 2.5 weeks of the season. The opponent's batting average against the Braves bullpen was .340. Since then, it's .224. And their ERA has gone from 7.75 to .207.
So which is it? It's the age-old question in our sport. Is it because the starters are pitching deeply and effectively into the games? Or is it that the bullpen is much improved and deeper and healthier? Or is it a combination of the two?
It's a little bit of a combination of the two, but I think it's weighted heavily to the fact that the pitchers are going deep in the ballgame. So you're not having to go to 4 guys every night, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, but you're not going 4 or 5 deep in the bullpen every night. So somebody's getting a night off. And usually it's 2 or 3 guys.
2-2 to Lopez, who turns around and bats right-handed now against O'Flaherty. Lopez 1 for 3 in tonight's game. And 2, the back 3 guys, Moylan, Soriano, and Gonzalez, are also further along from their arm surgeries. They're healthier.
Yeah. Arm strength getting better by the day.
Chop toward short. Escobar charges. O'Flaherty gets the leadoff man. 1 out.
Chipper was real complimentary to Unell on the road trip and about his defense and how it has really helped the Braves pitching staff, given a lot of confidence. Something we talked about at the beginning of the season. The defense had to be good. He had a lot of ground ball pitchers. They had to tighten up what last year was a very mediocre defensive year. And after a little bit of a slow start, the guys are really playing some good defense, led by Unell.
Well, his arm can cover up an awful lot defensively at shortstop. Larry Boas said to me last year that from the hole, Unell Escobar has the best arm of any shortstop he's ever seen. Ever.
I remember that. But think about him so far this year on just routine ground balls. He rarely gets an in-between hop where he's kind of fighting it. His timing's good. He knows when to charge. He knows when to lay back, and he's able to lay back. You don't like to see guys let the ball play them, but because of his arm, he's able to catch that ball on a second hop sometimes and throw flat-footed and still get the guy.
Last year, the Braves guilty of 107 errors. Coming into play tonight, just 20 in 34 games.
And just 2 by Unell. Flaherty does his job, and Bobby has made the sign he's going to make a change.
So Flaherty gets Lopez, he gets Parra. He'll also get a nice ovation from the 32,000 numbered crowd tonight. And Peter Moylan will be coming on. Justin Upton is 0 for 3 with an RBI tonight. Bases empty. Braves up a run. 3-2 your score. This call to the board. Beautiful night in Atlanta. The Tomahawk team enjoying the score tonight. 3-2 Braves lead. Bases cleared out for Peter Moylan. He was very busy, appearing in 4 of the Braves' 8 games on their just completed road trip, and he's had some rough spots early in the season, but 5 consecutive scoreless outings will slowly whittle that ERA to a more manageable number.
It'll take a while after the big numbers at the beginning of the year, because he doesn't work a lot of innings on any given night, but it's getting down there. Pal Galima looked it up. The Braves bullpen through May 14th of last year had thrown 128 in the third innings. This year 103 in the third. So a 25 inning difference through this date last year.
Yeah, so 2/3 of an inning less per game, roughly.
That's significant.
And now Moylan misfires inside to Justin Upton, who drove in the second and final run for the Diamondbacks in their 2-run first. In fact, tonight Arizona, after the first inning, has a grand total of 3 hits. They have a grand total of 5 overall. Overmatched there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good pitch for Peter. That sinker that goes down and in on lefties. Looks like they're going to try it again.
That might be trouble. Infante's got to wait for gravity, and Young with his, or Upton with his great speed, is able to beat out an infield topspin roller.
Just banged it right off the plate. And he's within a couple of steps of first base by the time Infante even gloves the ball.
So Upton aboard, representing the tying run. Here's Mark Reynolds. Roger McDowell now out. As the Braves pen continues to work, I believe that's James Parr, the righty, and JoJo Reyes working here in the 8th inning. Now, you know what Arizona's thinking. This is a club that has stolen 26 bases. And with that long side-wheeling delivery of Moylan, he is a man against whom you figure Arizona will try to steal.
Absolutely. And sometimes Peter even tips it off a little bit, because he kind of leans forward with his upper body to get into his motion. And as soon as that lean starts, he's only got one place to go, and that's home plate.
Well, it's all set up here for him. You've got a man that seldom makes contact in Reynolds, a very fast man in Upton at first base. You have to pay close attention to Upton because he represents the tying run, but if you make a mistake, Reynolds can take you out of the yard too. And he wisely blisters a fastball that's fouled back, strike one.
Mark Reynolds is so aggressive up there, as we've seen tonight, chasing a lot of pitches that at times were not in the zone. You don't have to throw this guy a strike, even though it's not 0-2. He's up there swinging the bat. See how far he'll widen his zone.
McCann moves out toward that left-hand batter's box. That's another part of Bryant's game I think he's gotten little credit for, in that his knowledge of a hitter's strike zone and his ability to move out and stretch the limits east-west on the plate. Now they set up inside with Reynolds. They got it there, but too tight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good spot. If there's one thing about the arm strength of Peter that you want to question right now, it's fastball. He's in the 88, 89 range, where before the surgery he was 93, 94.
Little nubber hit to first, and Moylan does the job. Reynolds made contact, but weakly rolls out, and the Braves maintain a 1-run lead heading to the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-2. Braves are coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Braves, who are trying to earn their 6th home win and get back over 500 tonight. And they'll try to add to that lead against hard-throwing right-hander Tony Pena, who's been one of the bright spots for Arizona so far this year.
Yeah, and he's cut down on his walks. Only 3 walks in his 15-plus innings. That was an issue for him a little bit last year, but he was 4th in the league in holds last year as the setup guy. Had 23 of them for the Diamondbacks and off to a good start, and they certainly need that in their bullpen.
He had more holds than our producer Glenn Diamond?
Yes.
Wow.
Although if you Glenn gets you in a figure 4. I'm telling you, Glenn's an old wrestler from Southern California. Headlocks, figure 4s. You ever seen him in a singlet?
I don't even know what that is. I've saw
wrestling.
Oh, the wrestling garb?
Yeah, the singlet. It's called. Although with Glenn it was kind of a triplet. But he's a tough hombre.
Deep short. Nice pick. Even better throw.
Yeah, that was a nice play. Chipper come to the plate. Let's take a look at the Zaxby's indescribably good play of the game. And it was the one to put the Braves on top where they still are at 3-2. This home run in the third inning, his 4th of the year with 1 out. 12th career homer. And don't forget the sensation salad back at Zaxby's, a flavor so unique it demanded an encore.
Well, how about an encore from Chipper with the long ball? Little, as someone used to say in this booth, a little insurance would be nice.
Yeah.
It couldn't hurt either. 3-2 game.
I think the 3 balls he hit in New York the other day, Wednesday, double in the first, double in the third, sacrifice fly in the 5th, might have been the 3 hardest balls he's hit all year, and they came in back-to-back at bats.
Maybe reassuring. Remember the hand problem, the elbow problem. They hit the ball oddly against the Phillies with that awkward swing. We saw the hand come off and the grimace.
Yep. And then follow that up with a long homer tonight. Knows at bats were right-handed, as was his homer tonight.
That ball served down the left field line and foul, and that's the kind of swing and that's the kind of contact that earlier this year would have really caused that hand of Chipper Jones some problems.
No question. It would have sent bees through his hand that would have bothered him probably for a game or 2. It's also the swing that helps him hit for a high average. A lot of sluggers swing and miss at that pitch trying to yank it. He'll fight it off foul, hoping to see a better pitch here.
And he earns the walk. So Chipper aboard. That'll help the Braves' cause. Garrett Anderson scheduled. Here he comes 0 for 3 tonight. His 3-game hit streak, a modest one, on the line in this 8th inning at bat, perhaps.
And Mike Gonzalez got a very welcome day off yesterday because the team didn't play.
Yes. What does that say about Mike? Give me the ball. We're not going to lose this game, is in essence what he said. And he was true to his word against the Mets. Ground ball right side. Anderson, 4-game hit streak. Chipper stops at second with 1 out.
Professional hitter there, Chip. Nice, easy swing. Threw some top hand on the ball. And it was almost like a batting practice swing to try to get the ball through that side. Chipper being held on, huge hole on the right side, and he did probably something he's done 500 times in his career. Try to guide that ball through the hole. What is out away from him a little bit too.
And what a difference in the way that this game has worked for the offenses. Atlanta has struck out just 4 times in this game. Arizona struck out 10 times. You make contact, good things can happen. And McCann out of play, foul, a strike.
98 on that fastball from Pena.
Good stop by Snyder back there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Maceo Grant, our fine director tonight. Tim Smith, Hal Kicklatter on the cameras as always. Jim Budka, our fine audio man. Ashley Kurbis with our graphics. Hal Galima, our fine statistician. Chip and Joe upstairs. Braves leading 3-2 in the 8th. 2 more with Arizona, then Colorado and the Jays due in next. Inside corner at 98. Wow.
Well, he may be throwing hard, but he's got his work cut out for him against Brian McCann. Brian's just under a 400 average against right-handers, 394. And remember, before the glasses, he was really scuffling against lefties. Not only was his average down overall, but lefties, he was something like 1 for his last 22, 1 for 24, something like that, before the correction. And Dr. Alan Kozarski out to check on his patient tonight at the ballpark to make sure everything was going well. Obviously it is.
Happy birthday, A.J. Hinch. 35 years old tonight. Hoping his Diamondbacks can rally and stop this Braves rally in the 8th inning. They are 1-5 so far since the managerial switch. And a nasty slider takes care of McCann for the 2nd out.
That was too much. 98 and then a 90-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. It went down. That looked like a split finger pitch. Boy, it was sinking. Tough one to handle.
Chance for Jeff Francoeur with 2 outs to add to this lead. Ground ball up the middle. Funny hop. Drew late to the bag, but Lopez played it very effectively. And the side is retired. A hit and a walk with 2 outs. Nothing comes of that. Mike Gonzalez hopes to close it out. 3-2 your score after 8.
Fashion for Mike Gonzalez in that the Mets came back to win the game on Tuesday night after Beltran had the double and an 0-2 pitch. He hit Tatis, a sac fly by Castillo, tied the game. That cost him a save, but then on Wednesday he came right back, and in the 12th inning, outstanding, fanning the last 2 batters, including Sheffield, looking for that backdoor breaking pitch, and here he is tonight. A chance to get his 7th save of the year.
He's 6 for 8 in saves so far. He's retired 12 of 18 first batters. He's inherited 3 runners this year. Not a single one of them have scored. And he is pitching very well. What's interesting about Mike, and I talked to him about it after the final game of the road trip, he said his slider, which is at times devastating, is there about 40% of the time, he said. He'll snap off one that's Sandy Koufax-like, and then the next one, it feels the same coming out of his hand, and it just sits there.
The pitch he made to Sheffield was awesome. He'd run the count to 3-2. There was a runner at third base that represented the tying run, and he just froze him. That break back to a breaking ball.
Little pop, long run chipper, but he won't have a play. It's in the seats. 2-2 to Drew. Well, the interchangeability of parts in the Braves bullpen with Gonzalez and Soriano, and perhaps to a lesser extent Peter Moylan, was also evident on the road trip. Remember, in Philadelphia, Bobby elected to use Mike Gonzalez in the 8th inning of that game, in which he had to retire Howard and Utley and Ibanez, and then Soriano closed things out. And that one hit a mile high to right. Francoeur on the run at the track wall, and it is out of here. Can you believe it? Stephen Drew hits a leadoff homer. And that's a birthday present A.J. Hinch is thankful for. We are tied at 3 in the 9th.
I think it's that breaking ball you were talking about, Chip, and I think he threw a high hanger. Watch Drew go up after this pitch. Yeah. Let her high. Just a matter of it was far enough. And Stephen Drew comes back to his home state and ties it up in the 9th.
So young bats, no chance for Javi Vasquez to win again tonight. That's disappointing. And the 3rd blown save of the year for Gonzalez. Now he's got to stop the bleeding here in the 9th. Turn it over to the Braves bats in the bottom half.
You were asking for an insurance run last inning, and that's why.
Braves left a man in the 7th inning in scoring position, left one in the 8th in scoring position, but have only 1 hit in this game from the start of the 4th inning on. That's tough to overcome. That's popped to the right side in foul ground. Kochman in the first base coaching box, 1 out. This at times has been a funny offensive club, the Braves. When they're able to tack on a run or two here and there in the middle innings and 1 or 2 in the later 3, they're an awfully tough club to beat. But at times they'll get 2 or 3 early and then just stop scoring, and even worse, stop hitting.
Yeah, they didn't have a hit in the 4th, 5th, or 6th, or 7th inning.
Strike to Whitesell, 0-1. So new life for Arizona. 3-3 9th inning on a Drew leadoff homer. And quickly 0-2 in the bottom half. Kochman, Schaefer, and the pitcher spot is due. I think I said the Braves had no hits from the 4th inning on. You're right. They had 1. That was Anderson's hit in the 8th. And did he go? He didn't.
It's the 10th game that Mike Gonzalez has been in this month. And he was able to stop his swing, it appeared. One of those off days out of that, at least one of those off days, came on a night in New York where he was up warming up. Didn't get in the ball game, but when the Braves seemed to have a comfortable lead, Buddy Carlisle gave up a couple runs and Mike had to get up and really get ready. So it was as if he were in the game.
Off-speed pitch gets Whitesell. That's the 11th time in this game a Diamondback has struck out. And now 2 quick outs after the Drew homer. And I think, if memory serves, we talked about that at the time in New York, that was just like an appearance, and wonder what effect that's going to have on Gonzalez in the next week and a half or 2.
Pitched on the 7th, the 9th, the 10th, warmed up in the 11th, was in on the 12th, 13th. Yesterday was an off day, and in there on the 15th. It's a lot of work.
No balls and a strike to Snyder.
As you said, he wants the ball, but with Atlanta entering a game with a 1-run lead, he's 6 for 11 now in safe situations.
And that's the toughest one to get.
It is, and you know, I applaud his wanting to have the ball in his hand and go out there. I feel real bad for Javi Vasquez, who after the first inning just was lights out. 10 strikeouts in the 7 innings of work.
He's right on it and stays alive.
You know, I know against lefties, he's pretty much in the middle of the pitching rubber and then goes over to the third base side of the pitching rubber for right-handers, but he was not against Snyder, and he's not now. We've shown him way over here on this side to get a better angle against righties, and we don't see it tonight. Don't know the reason why.
There's that breaking ball, and it froze the Arizona catcher. The Diamondbacks have been struck out 12 times. That's equal to 4 innings offensively. Yet because of a Drew homer leading off the inning, the Diamondbacks are off the deck. They've tied it 3-3 with the Braves coming up here in Atlanta.
Street TV. The Braves play here.
Bottom of the 9th inning. Mike Gonzalez hopes the offense can bail him out and end it in the bottom half of this inning. Kochman, Schaefer, and then we'll see. Pena will stay on after a hit, a walk, and a strikeout in his 8th inning of work tonight. Doug Davis off the hook as well for Arizona. He would have lost the game if Arizona had not scored a moment ago.
Come on, kid.
1 ball, no strikes.
Pena's numbers against the Braves in the past haven't been too good. 6 innings of work, 5 earned runs allowed, no record. He's bringing it tonight.
96 with sink.
6'2", 220.
And look where the Arizona outfield is playing. They're in Gwinnett County out there. So a little dunker might work. That, however, won't. Ground ball to second. Lopez takes care of Kochman. Casey 0 for 4, 1 out. Jordan Schaefer has an RBI tonight. And let's see if he can have a quick bat. He did. And he lines that over Lopez. That surprised Lopez, I think. That ball got to him in a big hurry, and he didn't have the glove up in time.
I don't think he had time to even put himself in a position to jump. Yeah, you're right, Chip. I mean, he's kind of reaching for it, but he got a horrible break on the ball to even move for it. No time to. Good swing by Schaefer.
Kelly Johnson will bat for Gonzalez here. Now the Braves have a chance to do all kinds of things offensively. One, you can try a straight steal with Schaefer. Two, you can play hit and run because Kelly's a good contact guy. You can play run and hit too. Big hole on the right side as Whitesell has to hold Schaefer aboard. Jordan 1 for 2 in steals this season, and Arizona chases him back.
Kelly's first at bat tonight, but he's got a quick bat, good fastball hitter, and very good numbers pinch hitting, as you see. But a guy who can turn that fastball around, as Schaefer just did.
Outfield plays him to left center. That's where Young stands. Upton also shaded over slightly. Parra straight away but deep in left. Right center and between first and second are the two big holes for Kelly.
Yeah, they're still a little surprisingly deep. One thing to play deep with nobody on base. It's another in this situation, although they don't want an extra base hit if they can help it. They'd concede a single but try to keep Schaefer from going to third.
I don't know about Parra's arm and left. What about Young and Upton?
Both good arms. I would say that Upton has the better of the two. It looked like that pitch that struck McCann out, although it was up. Got away with one there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Infante next. 3-3 game, bottom 9, 1 on, 1 out. And blown save-itis around the rest of the league too. Brad Lidge just blew a save in Washington tonight. It's 6-6 going to the 10th. Phillies and Nationals.
I think Jordan could get a little bigger lead. Got back pretty easily on that pickoff attempt.
Not going. And that straightens up Kelly.
Two and two, a good count to run on. Kelly might see that splitter or whatever that pitch is that's only thrown at 88 compared to 98.
Same spot, same result. All right. Manage along with Bobby Cox. 3 and 2, 1 out.
Sending him in. He's the winning run. He's counting on Kelly to put it in play, and if it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play, the worst that can happen is you go to the 10th inning.
Half step further by Schaefer and dives back.
But he did widen his lead. That's good. there.
He's going. Ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. Quality at bat by Kelly Johnson. Now Infante a chance.
How about the chop and chant breaking out here at the ball yard? Had some luck with Omar the last couple of at-bats on pitches up and in. Remember the cutter that was fired by Davis? It kind of tied him up and he fouled out to the catcher. Likewise, last time up against Roush, chased a high pitch and popped up his short. Having a little luck above the letters.
Line drive into center field. Base hit. Schaefer had to hold just in case. And there's no place to put Yunel Escobar with 1 out.
He wanted to run so bad, but as we saw some bad base running in New York by Jose Reyes, you just can't take off. And you see him freeze there. Not sure if the ball is going to be caught him because Young has such great coverage in center field, great speed. He had to freeze. And that's a shame, but that was the right play for Jordan Schaefer. But who better to have up there with runners in scoring position than Yunel Escobar?
He came in with a .432 average this year with runners in scoring position. To put it in perspective, Escobar coming into play tonight has 16 hits with runners at second or third base. The Arizona lineup combined 26. So you're right. He's one of the guys you love in this situation if he can find a hole. Arizona appears to have the infield in now with a Brave at every base and only 1 out.
And he's 2 for 4 in his career off of Pena. Infield in. You want to shoot one somewhere out over the infield. Fly ball, whatever. Get him in from third. Doesn't have to be a base hit.
High fly ball, center field. Is that deep enough? Young under. There's the catch. Schaefer's tag. Throw to the plate is close, but wait. A sac fly wins it in the 9th.
That'll send everybody home happy. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, Chip, thanks to a tremendous throw by Young. He airmailed it to the plate, and Jordan Schaefer didn't slide. Kind of stepped over the leg of Snyder. Here's the play. It appeared plenty deep enough. You see Young going back to get the ball. He was way out there. And it was a one-hopper instead of on the fly. And I think when Snyder came off the plate to get the ball, it gave Jordan enough room to get there standing up. What a good win.
Braves win a thriller in their last at bat. They're over 500, and they take game 1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-3. Tonight's final. We'll recap it for you right after this.